Hello, everybody. Welcome to this session on drug metabolism. Don't forget to subscribe for letting you know the further details and hit the bell icon. Okay, so today we will start with the chapter of drug metabolism. So, let us discuss drug metabolism as per the syllabus. I am Dr. Urmila Joshi, and given here is my mail ID. In case there is any difficulty, you can mail to me on this mail address and I will reply. So, starting with xenobiotics. What are xenobiotics? Okay, xenobiotics are the substances which are not endogenously produced by the body. These are called as exogenous chemicals also, or xenobiotics. Now, what are the examples of xenobiotics? All the drugs that we consume during illness are xenobiotics. They are not produced by the body, they are obtained from an external source. Similarly, environmental chemicals. There are n number of environmental chemicals which are present in around us, and these are xenobiotics. We inhale, we ingest these chemicals. Then chemicals of food origin. There are so many polyphenols and other items, the carbohydrates, the plant proteins which we consume are of food origin, but they are not produced by our body. And there are other chemicals. So all these collectively are called as xenobiotics. Now, as you all know, all the xenobiotics are foreign substances. And our body is going to ensure that these foreign substances are eliminated as fast as possible. But these foreign substances are mostly lipophilic in nature, except for some hydrophilic substances. Okay. Now, if they are lipophilic in nature and the major route of excretion is via kidneys, that means the lipophilic substance needs to be converted to hydrophilic and water-soluble substance so as to get excreted via kidneys. Okay. Now, this process of conversion of any lipophilic substance to a more water-soluble substance is known as drug metabolism. So, there is drug in the body. The various enzymes act on these drugs and convert to some more water-soluble substance. The reason for converting to more water-soluble substance is enabling excretion via kidneys. This metabolism, this entire process of converting a drug to some other compound which is more water soluble is known as drug metabolism. And this drug metabolism occurs in phases. There are two distinct phases of drug metabolism. Let us see this. What happens in phase 1? Any lipophilic substance is acted upon by enzymes, and there is introduction of polar groups on the lipophilic substance. What are these polar groups? There is OH, okay, there is COOH. All these are polar groups. So polar groups are introduced. We will see the examples later. Now, what do they do? Polar groups increase the water solubility, but such compounds still may not be completely water soluble. So, there is phase 2. What happens in phase 2? The polar groups which are introduced in phase 1 are conjugated with water-soluble moieties, and such conjugated product is ready for being eliminated via kidney. So this is the entire process of drug metabolism. Occurs in two phases. First phase, introduction of polar group. Second phase, conjugation with water-soluble moieties to convert it to completely water-soluble compound. Cytochrome P is an enzyme system which is very, very important in drug metabolism. Okay. Now, what does cytochrome P do? Cytochrome P causes oxidation of xenobiotics. Okay. This oxidation subsequently converts a xenobiotic to its more water-soluble derivative. There are various types of cytochrome P enzymes which are present, and subsequently we are going to see in detail how cytochrome P acts. Now, next question. Why should we study drug metabolism? Why is it so relevant? Okay, sometimes what happens is drug itself is active, but the metabolite is inactive. So, knowing the metabolism and rate of metabolism and excretion will tell you about how long the drug is going to act. It is going to enable the formulator to decide the dosage regime. Then, it is going to enable the researchers to judge the safety of the drug. Why? Sometimes the drug is safe, but its metabolite is toxic. Sometimes the drug is toxic, but its metabolite is safe and effective. So all these things can be understood. This is like a kundali of drug in the human body. Okay. Food additives are used in the food industry to a great extent, and development of food additives require study of metabolism, because these food additives are also xenobiotics, and they are also going to be subjected to metabolism, and therefore their metabolism is very important. Then predicting drug interactions, then understanding carcinogenesis and other toxic processes. These usually occur during metabolism. Then assessment of potential toxicity of chemicals via metabolism. Okay. Then predicting food-drug interactions. Then understanding effects of enzyme modulation. Right now, just remember this, because we are going to study this, what is enzyme modulation, and study of prodrugs. I think all of you are aware that prodrugs are the compounds which are inert in nature. They do not have any biological activity of their own, but when they enter the body, they are metabolized and the metabolites are active. Okay, so study of prodrugs requires a good study of drug metabolism. Let us try to understand the sites of drug metabolism. Liver is the first and foremost important site of drug metabolism. Most of the drug metabolism occurs in the liver. This is followed by intestine. Then there are kidneys and lungs, and skin and other organs which metabolize drugs to some extent. Liver is the primary metabolizing organ. I think all of you know that liver is the first organ that is perfused by chemicals from the gut. Whatever we ingest first enters the liver from the intestine. Liver contains very high concentration of metabolizing enzymes. So the function of liver is to make everything safe. So what it does, it contains high concentration of metabolizing enzymes. Okay, and these metabolizing enzymes act on xenobiotics and most of the times, try to make them into safe chemicals, more hydrophilic chemicals, which can be excreted via kidneys. Of course, there are exceptions, and sometimes metabolism causes a safe chemical xenobiotic to get converted to a toxic one. Okay, the exact metabolism site is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, where the metabolism occurs with the help of enzymes. We need to consider first pass metabolism while talking about drug metabolism. Okay, I think you have studied this first pass metabolism, but just a quick recap. The drug reaches liver via oral route. The drug is extensively metabolized in the liver. If it is extensively metabolized in the liver, such drug will not reach systemic circulation in sufficient amount. Why? Because the drug, let us call the drug as A, it enters gut. From gut, it enters liver. In the liver, it gets converted to B. Now, if B reaches systemic circulation, then the problem is A has not reached systemic circulation, and therefore what effect we see is of B. Examples of drugs undergoing first pass metabolism. You have heard of them, but still a recap. Nitroglycerin, morphine, propranolol. I think all of you know that nitroglycerin is not given by oral route because it undergoes extensive first pass metabolism. Similarly, morphine is not so effective when taken via oral route because it undergoes extensive first pass metabolism and does not reach circulation as morphine. Okay. Propranolol undergoes first pass metabolism to some extent, but of course, propranolol is still given orally. Coming to intestine. Intestine is the most important extra hepatic organ. The most important organ is liver or hepatic system. The second most important is intestine. This intestine contains enzymes which are required for food breakdown. I think all of you are aware of that. There are esterases which hydrolyze ester. There are lipases. There are other protein breakdown enzymes. There is also bacterial flora. And this bacterial flora can cause metabolism of drugs such as penicillin. I think all of you know penicillinase producing bacteria are present in the intestine. And so they can cause metabolism of drugs such as penicillin. Okay. The other sites of drug metabolism, the other sites include kidney, lungs, and skin. In kidneys, there are variable reports. One drug that has been studied is paracetamol, but the reports are variable. Theophylline to some extent is metabolized in the lungs. Cutaneous metabolism of vitamin A and D3 is known to occur in the skin. So, if there is a short note on sites of drug metabolism, you can give these examples. Please remember that any answer in such short notes is not complete unless you give examples. So make sure you include examples in the answer. With this, we have completed the introduction to metabolism. And now, in the next video, we will see factors affecting metabolism. If you like this lecture, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the bell icon so that subsequent videos uploaded, you will be intimated about these videos. Thank you.